And now with Labor Day coming up this weekend, it got us thinking, will people feel more safe now to hop in their cars and go somewhere for the holiday? Joining me now live on Zoom is Jim Garrity from AAA. Jim, thanks so much for taking the time to talk with us tonight.
Thanks for having me on.
We were talking in the commercial break. How do you think this interview right now is going to compare to the usual interview we've done in the past couple years?
Right, on any typical year, and this certainly is no typical year, we've been able to actually put forward some hard numbers about how many people we at AAA would project to be traveling. But with how quickly everything changes now, with the data kind of being compromised in that way and not as usable as years past, this year we don't have exact numbers. But what we do have, and what we can relate to anybody who's kind of thinking about maybe taking a trip this weekend, are some of the trends we've seen throughout the summertime and how that might impact travel over the long weekend we have ahead.
So you think people are actually going to travel later this week?
Well, what we have seen, again, is think about it this way. When you have something like a pandemic, a lot of people in their house, locked in, that gives a lot of them kind of this urge to go travel. So even though a lot of destinations may not be on the table, they still have the want. They still want to go and take a vacation. And in a lot of ways, the Labor Day holiday is often, it marks the end of summer. It's kind of your last chance to take a nice summer trip. So what we have been seeing throughout the summer and what we could see this summer are people taking road trips. We projected at AAA about a 15% decrease in travel this year as compared to last. And the vast majority of people we projected who would be vacationing would be taking a road trip of some kind. So if we do see an uptick in travel this weekend, which is likely, if not for nothing, just because it's a long weekend, we expect that to be on the road. However, with the pandemic in place and other factors, it may not be as busy as some people have seen in years past.
Do you have any tips for people who are planning to hit the road? Maybe it's their first time since the start of the pandemic, using these rest stops, toll plazas.
Yeah, and there can definitely be some anxiety about that because a lot of this is unknown. I mean, anybody who has been planning a trip, think about you every year that you plan a road trip, especially, you have a laundry list of things you have to get pretty much sorted out before you go. Is the car ready to go? Are we ready to go? Packed up, et cetera, et cetera. Well, this year you have a couple more bullet points and they surround the COVID-19 situation. What are the restrictions where we are? What are the restrictions where we're going? Do we have extra face masks and extra hand sanitizer if need be? So really what I would tell anybody who's planning a last minute trip, which is many of the people that we've been speaking with at AAA, anybody who's been vacationing this year, they've kind of been waiting till that last minute. If you're still thinking about it though, definitely think through all the factors, because that anxiety that you may be feeling about what's open, what's not open, that a lot of those anxieties can really be eased just by having more information. And really, oftentimes, stuff like this is a good excuse to have a travel agent or to have somebody who's a travel professional of some sort, because they're getting the up-to-date information. And with that information, you can really ease those anxieties.
Real quick, how are gas prices looking right now around here?
Well, we've seen gas prices tick upward in the last week, about 10 cents in the area, a little bit more because of the hurricane. Hurricane Laura had an effect on refineries in the South. That may be short-lived because what we're seeing is some of those refineries coming back online, some of the, maybe not as much damage to them as in recent memory, some other hurricanes that we've seen in the past few years. So the gas price increases could be short-lived, but look, compared to last year, all summer they've been between 30 and 50 cents cheaper. So there is that silver lining for anybody who's planning a road trip.
Some positive out of it. All right, Jim, thanks so much for taking the time to talk with us tonight.
You bet.